Welcome to the Floral Shop podcast, where flowers and business blend seamlessly. Join our journey to uncover the secrets of elite event designers and get insights into the art of running a successful floral shop. Here is your host, Ziv Raviv.
Hello and welcome to the Floral Shop podcast. Today with me is Frankie Sheridan from the Fancy Pansy Floral Shop, all the way from Colorado. Hello, Frankie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to talk to you. You're located all the way in the mountains in Colorado. And I'm curious, just how are you able to actually thrive and succeed in a place where maybe the population is not very, very big? What do you do? And let's start with your origin story. Like, how long have you been into flowers and how did you get into this industry?
So I got into flowers kind of as a fluke, honestly. Like, I've always been interested in flowers as a kid, but then I went on to do stuff more in the legal field and risk management. And then where I live is very much a destination place. Like, I'm very close to the mountains of Vail and Beaver Creek, and it's very much a destination resort. And so I started realizing people come here for weddings and events and things like that. Where me being from Colorado originally, I would think a destination wedding is at the ocean. But people have been coming to Colorado to ski as their whole life. And so then they think of a destination in the mountains of Colorado. So when I started thinking, how did I get in the legal field? Why am I doing this? And I just decided to open up a flower shop. And so we have a lot of, like I said, destination people that come here for their weddings. We do a lot of events, corporate events, fundraisers, all that kind of stuff in the winter time when people are coming here to ski, and then they have an event as well. So we do a lot of events, a lot of weddings. We do everyday flowers as well, but most of our income comes from corporate events and weddings and just events in general.
Let's talk a little bit about like a corporate event. Because some people they never did one. They did maybe weddings, they did some walk-ins or deliveries, but a corporate event is something that can have quite a wide range of.
Right. Yes.
So what would you consider a small corporate event and what would be a huge one?
So we have a very big event that's coming up. It's a corporate event and it's coming up at the end of February. And so it's February 27th, 28th, and March 1st. And each of those nights, they need 40 individual arrangements, 40 different arrangements each night. And so they're up in Beaver Creek. They call it the Celebrity Ski Classic. And they ski in Beaver Creek and then they have events at night. And so it's a big corporate thing for American Airlines is one of the huge sponsors. And so then they have different themes each night and they want different arrangements and different styles each night. So 120 arrangements that we have to do, 3 different themes. Usually we do 2 to 3 different arrangements on each table, or like there's 2 to 3 styles for all 40 tables. So we've got to come up with their theme, their colors, incorporate everything that they're looking for into these different nights. And then a lot of times a corporate event will have like a smaller corporate event. We're actually doing one tonight. They're just having dinner at a nice restaurant. So it's 12 arrangements that we're doing for a corporate event tonight. They're doing like a corporate ski day, and then they're going to a nice restaurant and they just want it filled with flowers.
So basically, like the job could be as small as like $1,000, and it could be as huge as even a few tens of
Absolutely.
thousands.
Yeah, exactly.
But one of those, like the bigger scope type of projects, that's not something you can do all by yourself.
No, definitely not.
So what type of a team do you have, and what do you do when you don't have a job for them?
So I'm here full time. And then I have 3 employees that are part-time. One employee is more full-time. She's here 3 days a week. And then she helps with events and things like that. I have another person who's here 1 day a week. Then I have a third person. She helps me a lot with the events. So I use a software. So she helps me. She works from home a lot. So she helps design a lot of the events, works with our software, goes back and forth on the emails and weddings, goes back and forth with the bride and figuring out exactly what they want. So she does a lot of work from home. And then she comes in to the shop 1 day a week. And then I have a few other people that I can call, like for Valentine's Day. I'm in Colorado, but one of my cousins, her daughter lives in Arizona. And so the last 5 years for Valentine's Day, I'll fly her out here from Arizona to help me for the week. And then I have family in Denver, which is about an hour and a half away. And so they'll come up and help when I get like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy, I need help. So I do have a lot of people that I can call on. I do have a woman who she worked here and then retired. And so she's still around. And so for super busy times, I can call her as well and say, hey, can you come and help me for these busy events? So
Nice.
yeah, I have a really good team.
What's the process of actually like training them on a job? Is it something that you just like teach them each time all over again, or do you have any system around that?
No, I am not very good at having a system around it. The person who's here for the most part full-time now, she helped me in the very beginning just with installs of weddings. So I knew she had an eye for it. She never had designed before, but I knew she had an eye for it just because she had helped me with so many weddings, installing arches and things like that. And so then she was living in Denver, but now has moved back up to the mountains. And so when she started full-time, it was just, I would walk her through the process. Like, here's your greens. And then you start with your focal flower. And then you go from there. And now she's an amazing designer. And it was just like coaching her. I don't have like a regimen that I do, but it was just coaching her on the daily. And if I would see mistakes, I'd be like, oh, wait, I wouldn't do it that way. I'd maybe do it this way instead. And now she's great. But everybody else that I've hired has always had previous experience.
What do you feel about your corporate clients in terms of like the relationships and the way that they work with you? Are they hard to manage? Are they micromanage type of people, or is it pretty straightforward and smooth?
Honestly, I would rather do 10 corporate events versus one wedding. I mean, honestly, because I feel like I partner with, it's a third party. They're called Rocky Mountain Connections. And so they are basically like a big party planner for corporate events. And so I have a great relationship with RMC. So when it comes to a lot of corporate events, I don't actually even really talk to the corporation or the person in charge. I deal with RMC, who is like their party planner from all the details, like where they're going to eat dinner, what activities they're going to do, the flowers, they're like the wedding planner for the corporate world. So they have all those details. And then they contact me. This is the customer's vision. This is what they're looking for. And I have such a good relationship with RMC that they don't micromanage me. I can basically tell them this is how much we're charging. And they know that I will show up and have a good product. So they go very smooth. And I feel like in a corporate event, the people attending are just excited to see flowers, where a wedding, the bride and the family has been planning this for over a year, and they put so much expectation on this one day that all the little details are so, so important. Where in a corporate event, people are like, oh, wow, there's flowers here at this corporate event. That's kind of nice, an added touch. So yeah, corporate events I'm a big fan of them.
So except for that company, is there another way where corporate events hear about you?
I would assume marketing. I know, well, I still bartend. I bartend up in Beaver Creek a couple days a week, and I'm constantly talking to tourists up there about my flower shop. And I do know that this big American Airlines one that we're doing at the end of February, is because of bartending. Like I actually, because they had come in like 2 years ago and they were telling me about the event. And I said, hey, how do you get the flowers for that? Because I know who was doing the flowers previously. And I said, how do you get into that field? And they were like, oh, I don't know. Give us a card. So I gave them a card and they reached out to me the next year. So now we've got that contract. And it was really just talking about my business while I was bartending.
When you work with an event planning company, do you charge the event planning company or do you charge the actual client, the corporate client?
So I give them a bid and then they obviously like charge, and then they charge for their whole services. And then they pay me directly. So I bill the corporate, or not the corporation, I bill the RMC. I bill the corporate planner.
Gotcha.
And they're very quick at paying their bills. And typically what they do is, which is crazy to me, they'll have a credit card for each event. They get a different credit card. And so then they just run all of the expenses through that credit card. And then when the event is over, they bill the client like one big bill for everything.
So corporates are basically, and wedding and like clients that are new are your bread and butter. Do you have any repeat clients that are like the same company came over again?
Yes. So this one that we're doing at the end is, yes, they are one that come every year. There's several groups through RMC that come once a year. They have like a big retreat or they'll have a big fundraiser. There's another company out here called Vail Valley Foundation, and they're huge in the Vail Valley, and they do a lot of big fundraisers. And so they'll contact us for each of their fundraisers too. So we'll do a lot of flowers for their fundraisers that they do. They do 2 really big ones twice a year. And then they'll do small events and things. And so we work with them, and they found out about me just through, I think, just marketing and talking to people and knowing my name throughout our small community.
What other types of marketing do you do?
Well, so right now my website is ran through a company, and I really like my website, but they've been doing social media posts for me, and I haven't really seen a whole lot of. My clicks have gone up, but my actual bottom line has not gone up. So that's something that I need. My contract is up with them in a couple of months, and I'm definitely going to revisit that. But I feel like I've lived here for a long time in this small community, and I bartended for a long time. So I feel like most of where I get stuff is from word of mouth, just because it is a small town. I mean, it's big when all the tourists are in town, but overall, it's a pretty small town. And so I think it's more word of mouth than anything at this point.
How far away do you travel for like a delivery or something like that?
So I will travel, I think the furthest away is about 20 miles. We did do a big memorial last night, and it was in Eagle, which is like 40 minutes away, which is normally we don't do daily deliveries there. But for an event, we would go that far. So I would say the furthest I've gone is probably like maybe 100 miles for an event. I wouldn't do that, obviously, for just daily, everyday flowers.
Do you get any walk-ins into your shop?
We do get a few. Honestly, that's why we got rid of a lot of retail, is because we don't have a lot of walk-ins. And so our retail just sort of sat on the shelves. So we do have a few, but mostly like our daily orders are calls like from people in New York that want to send somebody flowers here in the mountains in Avon. So like that would be more of our daily orders or calls for people wanting to make deliveries. We don't have a lot of walk-ins. And we're right across the street from a very busy grocery store, but we just don't have that market. I don't know why.
Have you tried any like flyers or anything like that for people that visit the grocery store?
I've tried advertising in some magazines, and I know for Valentine's Day, when I first started, I went and handed out flyers. And I am thinking of throwing a party in my flower shop, like for concierge and things like that, because we do have so many tourists and so many hotels around here. I've been thinking about doing that and showing them our new showroom versus our retail space. So that's something that's on the agenda, just to make more connections with like concierge and that kind of thing like that.
Have you ever considered getting into balloon decor?
We don't get a lot of calls for that. And there's one girl in town that does amazing balloons. She's really good. And we've partnered in several things. And so if people call and ask for balloons from me, I always give her phone number. And then if she's doing a big balloon install and they ask for flowers, she always gives them my phone number. But I feel like it's too much hassle for me to do it. And I don't know if I have the creativity to do that. Like the stuff that Leanna does is just amazing. So I let her have all the balloons.
What do you see is the next step in the development of Fancy Pansy as a business?
I mean, what I would really like is to strictly I would like to be able to build up the events so that I don't have to sit in the flower shop all day. Like we come in when there's an event to do and I don't need to sit here and just wait for daily orders to come in. Like I would like to just strictly do events and have a space to just create in. And if there's nothing going on, then I don't need to be at work. And I could go skiing instead of sitting in the flower shop all day.
And what do you think needs to happen in order for you to be able to do that?
I think we need to get our name out there more. And I think here, we're the youngest flower shop for sure. And we've been here 7 years and there's still people that will come in and be like, wow, I had no idea you were even here. So I think I probably need to start doing what I did in the beginning and start going to a lot more meetings and putting myself a lot more out there like I used to do in the beginning. And I haven't been doing that for a while.
Have you ever considered doing some advertising?
Yeah, I mean, I need to, but after this whole social media thing with my web designer, I feel like I gave him so much money and didn't get a whole lot of return. So I obviously need to target my marketing a lot better than it's being targeted now.
Just out of curiosity, what is a lot of money for like marketing that doesn't work?
I think it's about $1,500 a month that I'm still paying for another 2 months. And then when I look at my sales for the year, they're very steady and they haven't increased.
Gotcha. And you don't, those 1,500, those include like the service. It's not like any advertising budget itself. So it's whatever they are doing organically. I understand. I think that based on the pictures that I could look at and the work that you do, it's really quite impressive how you were able to serve the corporate niche efficiently in a very rural place and to build a business that can actually grow. And I think that you will figure out a way to get more corporate clients, not just through the event company, but also there are other events not through that specific company, I'm sure. And I'm really delighted that you shared with us your journey and your story and inspired us to, whoever is hearing this, like take a look at what Fancy Pansy are doing on fancypansy.com. We'll put a link on the show notes as well. And realize that you could actually find the locations and the companies that are doing event planning for corporate events and be in touch with them. Like, do you remember how did they hear about you for the first time? How did RMC actually get in touch with you?
Yeah, actually, there's a little pizza place right around the corner that usually after work we'll go and have a few drinks. And those girls from RMC usually go there too. So I'm pretty sure that was the first connection, is we just started talking at our local watering hole and just started chatting. And then one of the girls, her friend was getting married and her friend didn't want flowers. And so one of the girls was like, you have to have at least a bouquet. So she wanted to give a bouquet to her friend as a wedding gift. And she came to me and asked for the bouquet. And then it just kind of sparked from there. And they started using us a lot more for their events. And so now, like every year, I host a wreath-making class just for all those people. And they come in and we have some drinks and some food, and we make their Christmas wreaths, and they all love it. Like they've done it probably 4 years now in a row. And so it was just like an organic connection, I think. And then it turned into like a great business relationship.
Love it. Very inspiring. Thank you again for sharing this story with us. And I hope that you got something out of listening to this show. Again, thank you everyone for listening to the show. And I'll see you next week on the Floral Shop podcast.
Thanks for tuning into the Floral Shop podcast. For more floral resources and stories, visit our website, floralshoppodcast.com, or step into our school at floralshopacademy.com. Don't forget to subscribe for our next flowery adventure. Keep blooming until we meet again.